Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. Today is day 13 of daily drill for MHCT, and in this video we are going to have solutions of miscellaneous quant questions like number series, quadratic equations, data sufficiency, data comparison, etc. I hope you must have solved these questions from the practice sheet, and let's look at the solutions to the questions. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and in our Telegram group, we share these PDFs in advance. So please do join our Telegram group. We share the questions one day, and the next day we discuss the solutions. So please try to solve these questions on your own so that it gives you practice also. And then only look at the solutions to see how to solve these questions in the best possible manner. In case you are preparing for MHCT, we have a course for the same. So we have a crash course which also includes mock test plus grammar course. And in case you wish to take our mock test separately, that are also available on our portal. The links are given in the description of this video. So let's begin with the first question. This is based on number series. So we need to find the missing number in this series. Now, if you look at these numbers, okay, you don't seem to have some ratio, like it is not two times, three times, four times. But if you look at the difference, like we can make some series using the difference. So subtract this number, you will get 918. If you subtract this will be 816. This is 720. Okay, and then we have 630. So this is the difference. Now take the difference between two. This is 102. This difference is 96. This difference is 90. So what we notice is the difference is going down by the double difference, not the difference, the double difference is going down by 6. So if you further reduce by 6, it should be 84. Now subtract 84 from 630, you will get 546. Okay, so the answer should be 2730 minus 546. That will be 2184. So this is our answer. Okay, now that was the answer to this question. Now I'll tell you way how to I mean, this is the way we do it. Actually, the real pattern, if you see, try to calculate these values: 18 cube minus 18, 17 cube minus 17, 16 cube minus 16, 15 cube minus 15, 14 cube minus 14, and this number would have been 13 cube minus 13. So 13 cube is 2197, and if you subtract 13, you will get this number. So you can calculate the rest of the numbers and see that if these numbers follow the pattern. Now what happens is it becomes very difficult to strike this logic, like 18 cube. You may not be knowing that 18 cube is 5832. Maybe you know squares, but cubes we generally do not know, let us say beyond 10 or 15, rare. And it does not strike also. So the best approach is use these. I'll tell you how these methods work, right? So this is difference, this is double difference, triple difference. So if there is a cube thing, right? Triple distance, if the series involves cubes, in that case triple difference is constant, right? If some series involves squares, the double difference will be constant. So first find the difference, find double difference, find triple difference. Most of the series you will be able to solve accordingly. Okay, if there's just a difference based series. Let's look at the next one. Now this is the series which is given to us. One number is missing, 2152. Then we have 105 and 186. Okay. Now this looks again a series which looks complicated, right? Now we will do the same thing, because if you look at some multiplication factor, you may say 2 times, right, or 2.5 times, but it is 2 times only, it is not 1.5 times, it is somewhere 1.8. So the multiplication factor is not working. right? Multiplication factor works where you find some pattern like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, or 2.5 times, 3 times, 3.5 times, etc. So we will find the difference. So we will keep this point aside and try to find this difference. This difference is 81. Okay. This difference is 53. This difference is 31. Okay. So we will try to generate the series. So this is 22. If you find the difference, this is 28. So there is a change of 6. Okay. So we are seeing that this difference is going up by 6. So let us take some dummy values and see. Let's make this 16 and this as 10. Okay. Now when we make 16, that means this will be 15. Okay. And this will be 5. How did we generate this? This number is formed by, so we generated 16 and 10. So 15, 16, 31 and 5, 10, 50. This. So now 1 plus 5 gives us 6. 6 plus 15 gives us 21. Okay. So that will be the series. Now the answer will be 6. So using this triple difference, double difference, triple difference, you are able to solve it. Now if I tell you that the actual logic, right? So I told you that this is the first difference, this is double difference, and triple difference is constant. Now in this case again, that is 6666, that is triple difference is constant. So it has to do something with the cubes. Now I will tell you the actual series. One cube is there, right? So it has something to now actual series is very difficult to determine. Now 4 cube is 64. We need to make 52 out of it, right? So if we have to subtract a 12, so we can say minus 4 square plus 4, right? Minus 3 square plus 3, minus 2 square plus 2, minus 1 square plus 1. So 8 minus 4 plus 2. 27 minus 9 plus 3. Okay, so you can see all the numbers will follow this pattern. But it is how to determine. It is like it takes a lot of effort to determine, right? Not easy thing to do. But this difference things works better. So try to find the difference, double difference, triple difference. Okay, in case the ratio thing does not work. Now let us look at this series. Okay, now if you look at this, should we find the difference or not? That's the first question we should ask ourselves. Now, before going for the difference, see how many times the numbers are there, right? So you can say, see, always look from higher end. Okay, don't look from a lower end because it can be into 2 plus 3, it can be into 3, it can be into 4 minus 3 also. So we do not know whether it is plus or minus, right? So look from the higher end. So 65 into 6 is 390. Okay, so this looks roughly 6 times, right? Now 65, 651 into 6 will be 3906, and we have added 7 here into 6 plus 7. This pattern is there, right? Now if you notice this thing, can we say into 3 plus 4 is happening? Can we say into 2 plus 3 is happening? Right, so that makes a logic. Number is missing in between, right? But we have hit some logic that into 6 plus 7 gave us hint that it is possible that this could be the missing number. So into 3 plus 4, so 31 into 4 plus 5. Okay, 31 into 4 is 124 plus 5, 129 present in the series. Now next time if you find 129 into 5 plus 6. 129 into 5 is 645 plus 6 is 651, which is already present in the series. So this is present, this is present. Hence the missing number is 129. So this is the logic. Now why didn't we not take difference in this case? Because when you see it is some multiple like 6 times, 5 times, if that comes to your mind, then definitely it is not a difference based problem. It has to be some ratio based, like you need to take that by what number should we multiply the next term. Okay, next is wrong number in the series, right? Wrong number is just the same thing, right? The ability to find the pattern is the same, right? What matters is like a number will not follow the pattern. That's the only thing. But the process remains the same. Find the difference or find the ratios. Now, if you see, you will say that it is 2 times, but it is not 2 times. It is not 2 times. It is not even 1.5 times. So not a consistent thing. So find the difference. So this is 82, 88. This is 361, 5, 441, 529, 625. Now, do you notice these numbers? So if you see, this is 25 square, this is 23 square, this is 21 square, this is 19 square. It should have been 17 square. So that means this part is wrong. Okay. If this part is wrong, right, so it should be 289, right? 289, if it is there, it should be 334. But if you make it 334, suppose you make it 289 and you make it 334, then this will not follow the pattern. So that means this number is wrong. So it should not be 45, it should be 44. So 44, then you will have 289, then this will be right, and this will be right. So the difference, we got that it is wrong, but which number is wrong, that we need to check. Because if you make 333 incorrect, the remaining series will also not follow the pattern. So 45 is incorrect in this series. Next question, we need to find the wrong number in this series. Now let us see this series. Does it look like multiplication? So if you look closely, you will say that, okay, that is why always look from the higher number side. Do not look from lower number, because lower number it is difficult to tell. You will say into 3 into 3. Now you will say into 2 into 2 into 2. So it is actually not into 3. It is into 2 plus some value. Okay. So let us find this pattern. So 126 into 2 is 252. Right. So we are adding 15 over here. 15 into 2 is 114. We are having plus 2, 12. Right. So we have 3, 9, 27, 27, 126. 1 into 2 plus 15 is 267. Right. Into 2 plus 12 is 1, 1. 4 plus 12, 126. Into 2 plus 3. Now this is also becoming into 2 plus 3 into 2 plus 9, right? So this pattern is not matching, right? 9 and 27, the pattern is not matching. So one of them should be incorrect ones. Okay, so how to determine it? Now see, this is 15, this is 12. Ideally, it should be 963. Okay, multiples of 3, right? 15, 12. So let us correct it. Let's remove these numbers. So let's make it 3, 6, 9. So 3 into 2 is 6 plus 3, 9. 9 into 2 is 18 plus 6, 24. 24 into 2 is 48 plus 9, 57. So the number is 24 and the incorrect number in this series is 27. Okay, so this is the pattern: into 2 plus 3, into 2 plus 6, into 2 plus 9, and so on. Now, how do we determine that? We have to take difference. We see the pattern like 2 times दिख रहा है ना, double हो रहा है, double हो रहा है, double से थोड़ा ज़्यादा. So we know that we have to take the ratio, divide and see that how many times we have to multiply, plus it will be multiply plus something. Okay. All right. So here's the next one. In this, we need to find out the wrong number in the series. Now here we do not see that something has to be multiplied. So it has to be just the difference part. So see the difference. This is 14, 29. Okay, then it is 17 and then 38. Then we have 21. Okay. Now, if you see the pattern, right, it is not some consistent pattern because numbers are increasing and decreasing also. Now, if you notice one thing, this is 21, 17. Can we say it is 19 into 2, which is 38? Now, instead of like, can we have 15 into 2, 30? the correct difference and have 13 over here. See which part is making mistake. The number, like these two numbers are wrong. So which number is in between? 771. So ideally 771 should be wrong. So let us see how. Okay. Now if you put 13, like 757, if we have 13 here, that will be 770. Okay. Then we have 30 here, that will be 800 only. Okay, and rest will follow. So 817 and 38, 855 and 21, 876, right? So we see this thing like this is 15 into 2, this is 19 into 2, the rest is same. Okay, so the wrong number is 771. Now, sometimes the logic strikes immediately. So, the number series, the rule is simple. If the logic strikes immediately, solve those questions. If it takes a long time to determine the logic, avoid the question. Because logics can have, can be different. Like this is slightly unique logic, right? Once the difference, then another odd number into 2. So a difficult logic to crack during the examination and while practicing also. So do let me know in the comments that if you are able to this solve this particular question, because this had a weird logic than compared to others. So sometimes if the logic is very obvious, you can solve those questions fast. But many times it happens that we get stuck in those questions. Alright, now let's solve the next variety of questions, which is the quadratic equation based questions. So in this, we are given two equations. You have to solve the equations and compare the variables, which is smaller, which is larger. X square plus 3x minus 28 is equal to 0. So we have x square plus 3. Can we say 7 minus 4 plus 7x minus 4x minus 28 equals to 0. Okay, so x plus 7 minus 4 x plus 7 equals to 0. So x minus 4 x plus 7 equals to 0. So x is equal to 4 or minus 7, right? So we have 4 or minus 7. So the answers are 4 and minus 7. Next is y square minus 10y plus 24. So we can easily tell y minus 4, y minus 6 equals to 0. So y is equal to 4 comma 6. Now how to compare the values? Put them on a number line. Okay, so this is 4 and minus 7. This is the value of x. Y is 4 and y is 6. This is y and this is x. Now in a number line, this side is greater, this side is less. Okay, this is how it goes. So as you move to the right side, that is greater. So y is greater than x, and at this point y is equal to x. So y is greater than equal to x. Okay, easy one, because simple equations that could easily be solved. Now we need to solve these equations. Now what happens is when we have these equations where the coefficient is not 1. Okay, so in the previous case it was 1, like x square, it was simply y square. Now if you have bigger coefficient, I will tell you, we have a couple of questions like this. So how to solve these questions fast? Okay, now first of all, take these numbers 6, forget the coefficient, 6 minus 13 and 6. Okay, now think of two numbers. 6 into 6 is what? Multiply them. That is 36. So think of two numbers. When you multiply them, let us say you call them AB. AB is equal to 36 and A plus B is equal to minus 13. Okay. So think of the numbers. You will get minus 4 and minus 9. Okay. See, thinking these numbers will not be a big deal in most cases. So minus 4 and minus 9. So step 1 is reverse the sign and divide by a. A is basically coefficient of x square. Okay, reverse by a, like sign reverse and divide by a. So this is the thing to follow. So reversing the sign will make it 4 and 9 and divide by 6. So the values will be 2 by 3 and 3 by 2. Otherwise, how would you have done it? Like, I'll tell you that this is easy if you do it in the proper way. Like, you will see these numbers minus 4 and 9. So you will write 6x square minus 4x minus 9x plus 6 equals to 0. So now you will take x common and 2 also common. You'll say 3x minus 2, and you will say minus common and 3 common, 3x minus 2 equals to 0. So you will take 2x minus 3. Okay, so you will say x is equal to 3 by 2 comma 2 by 3. But it took time to solve this equation, right? It is time consuming. You have to write the steps. So how to avoid the steps? Think the numbers. Okay, and no need to write all things. That was to explain. Think the numbers, reverse the sign, divide by a. So let's do the same thing here. 4, we have 4 minus 16 and 15, right? 4 into 15 is 60. This is minus 16. Minus 6 and minus 10. Easy to think, right? 6 into 10, 60, right? And 6 plus 10 is 16. So minus negative numbers. Now, second step, sign reverse. Remember that this is very important step. If you do not reverse the sign, your answer will be wrong. So 6 and 10 and divide by 4. So 6 and 10 divide by 4. That will be 3 by 2 and 5 by 2. Okay. Now, sometimes these fractions might be confusing. So let's convert into decimal. 0.67 and this is 1.5 and y is 1.5 and 2.5. So if you put them on a number line, so x is 0.67 and 1.5 and y is 1.5 and 2.5. Okay, so y is greater and equal also. So y is greater than equal to x. Okay, so this is how we solve the equations when the coefficient is not 1. So if you learned something new, please do like this video, because you must have been solving this equations like this. Now you would be doing it one step, right? Thinking of the numbers, reverse the sign and divide by a. Straightforward roots. All right. Now this is another question, right? Where you would probably go and solve the equation. Now I'll tell you one interesting thing about quadratic equations. This is a standard type which you can solve without doing anything. So whenever there is the sum, right? So the quadratic equation of this format, ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0, right? Sum of the roots is given by minus b upon a, and product is given by c upon a, right? Now if you see, the product of the roots will be minus 4 by 2, that is minus 2, and here the product of the roots is minus 24. Okay, so that is the product of the roots. Roots means the solutions. Now if I ask you that like two numbers, when you are multiplying, how do we get the answer as a negative number? So if you multiply positive number by positive number, the product is going to be positive number. If you multiply negative number by negative number, the result is a positive number, right? But if you multiply one positive number and one negative number, the answer is going to be a negative. So the product is given to us as negative. That means one value is positive, one value is negative. Okay. So x is positive also and negative also. Similarly, y is positive also and negative also. Okay, both. Now the positive value of x will be greater than negative value of y. So you will say x is greater than y, right? This particular value. And this particular value of y will be greater than x, or you will say x is less than y for this value. Okay, one positive number is always greater than negative number, no matter what is the magnitude, right? Whether it is 0.1, whether it is 10, it does not matter. So we are having x greater than y also and x less than y also. Okay, so that is contradictory. Basically, no relation can be established. So the answer is straightforward. Never ever solve these questions if both have negative sign. Okay, it means roots are, product is negative. So if products are is negative, that means one number is positive, one number negative. We cannot find the relation. So remember this fact, that if the product is negative in both the equations, do not solve it. Direct answer is straightforward. Relation cannot be established. So something new you must have learned. If you, in case you are lucky enough to get this equation, it will save your time. Next question. Okay, now this is the typical which has coefficient greater than 1. Okay, so we will do this distribution 4 minus 37 and 63. 4 into 63 is 252. Okay, 252 we can break by 252 can be divided by 9. If you divide by 9 you get 28. So we see 9 and 28, 37. Now these were minus 9 and minus 28, right? Because this number was negative. So change the sign, 9 and 28, and divide by 4. So the roots are 7 comma 9 by 4. That is 7 and 2.25. So straightforward method to solve quadratic equations. You just have to think numbers, reverse the sign, done. Okay, second equation is 5 minus 23 and 24, right? This is 120. Okay, 120 can be 12 into 8, 15 into 12 into 10, 15 into 8. I'm writing straightforward because I know we have to change the signs, right? So the numbers are 15 and minus 15 and minus 8, right? The numbers here were minus 9 and minus 28. So since we have to change the sign, directly write those numbers like this. Okay. Now what we will do? We will divide by what? We will divide by 5. So it is 3 comma 1.6. Okay. Now if you see the values, this is x is 7 and 2.25, and y is 3 and 1.6. Now if you see this value of y, it is greater than x and it is less than x both, right? So one value of y is between the two values of x, so we cannot determine the relation. So you will say that x is, for this case you will say x greater than y, this case you will say x less than y, of comparing with 3. So again no relation can be established in this case, right? So the thing is, if you have quadratic equations wherein the coefficient is not 1, this is how we approach them. I hope you are enjoying this session, learning new things, how to solve questions in a better manner, and tricks to solve these questions. So please don't forget to like this video. Now let's proceed. Before that, just in case you are preparing for MHCT and are looking for mock tests, our mock tests are live on our portal. You can check them out. So now next is simplification. So sometimes you get these questions, maybe a handful of questions, 4 or 5 questions on simplification and approximation. Now we need to find this number into 171 is this minus this. Okay, so big numbers to multiply. So what we will do, we will probably break it down. Now this is 27 into 45 into 24, right? Now 45 into 24 I can do is half and double, 90 into 12, right? Minus 35 into 18 into 30. 18 into 30. Okay, 18 into 30 we can do 540, and this is 1080. Okay, now can we do this like this? Can we make it 6 and into 2? That is about the smart manipulation of numbers. So does it become 54 into 540? This is 35 into 540. Okay, so 540 we can take common. So 54 minus 35 is 19. Okay, so that is 19. 540 into 19. So we have 171x is equal to 540 into 19, right? We know that 99 is into 9 is 171. So 9x is equal to 540, x is equal to 60. So that will be the answer to this question. Okay, so it was about taking common factors. Otherwise, if you multiply, it will be a very large number to solve. So similar thing probably we will have to do here also. So we have 63 into 28, 27 into 56, plus 130 into some number, that is giving us 4316. Okay, now if you take 63 into 28, can be done as 54 into 28, right? So again, uh, this is 54 into 28 can be done this way, right? Now if you take 28 common, this is 63 and this is 54, so 107 into 28, right? Now plus 130 into some number and then give us 4316. So let's multiply 28 into 7, you will get 196. Okay, and 19 carries 47, 4 carries 32, so 3276 plus 130x is equal to 4316. This 130x will be 1040. 13 into 8 is 104, so x will be 8. Okay, so taking common factors help us reduce the calculation. Now next number is some percentage of 0.09, 2.4% of 1.5 and 3.75% of 1.2. Now if you see, these are going into decimals. Decimals, it becomes difficult to calculate, right? But if we multiply entire thing by certain number, right? Or see, that is technically what we are doing. We are multiplying everything by a certain number, both sides. We do this thing, right? While solving equations, we multiply both sides of the equation by some number. So here also we multiply with a power of 10. So like it could be 10, 100,000, etc. So if you see this, we require two zeros into 10 raised to the power 2 to make it non-decimal. And if you multiply by 10 to the power 2 this part, what will happen? This decimal will go away. This will go away, right? And if you multiply by 2, so 375% of 1.2. So that's how it will happen, right? So let us write in a manner that becomes, so if you multiply everything by 100, it becomes 9 of, like x percent of 9, or we can say 9% of x also. Okay, same thing. These are some basic things. Like if you say a into b, that is b into a. So x percent of 9, or we can say 9% of x is equal to, this is 24% of 15 plus, now instead of saying 375%, let us do one thing. Let us shift, like we have to multiply by 100, right? So multiply by 10 and 10. So it will become 37.5% of 12, right? 37.5% means 3 by 8. So this is 3.6. 24% of 15, that is 3.6. 3 by 8. So 12 into 3 by 8. 9, 9 by 2, which is 4.5. So what do we get? 8.1, right? Now forget about decimals and zeros. 9 into 9 is 81, right? So that becomes 90. 9% of 90 is 8.1. So x will be equal to 90. So it was about avoiding the decimals. So there were uh, two decimal places. So we multiplied by 100 on all numbers so that the numbers became simple to execute. Otherwise, in decimals, you have to count that up to how many places of decimal will this number go. All right, next question is approximation based question. So what we do in this case is we round off the values. Right? We'll simply round off. So we can say this is x percent of 400, right? Or can we write this 4x, because into 100 means, percent means into 100 by into the number by 100, right? So we can write 4x. This part we can write as 4x plus, this is 600. This is roughly 80% of 650. So that will be 520, right? This will be 5 by 11 of 880. So 5 by 11 and 880. This is 400. Okay, which is 920. So 4x is equal to 320 or x is equal to 80. So the answer is 80. Next question, again approximation. So it is x, let's say the variable x square plus, this is 50% of 632. Let us keep it at 632. 1368. So if you are aware of these squares, 37 square is 1369. You should know squares up to 100, because sometimes if they give you at least up to 50, I think I have a video also on fast calculation techniques, how to find squares. So if you know squares up to 25, you can know squares beyond that also quite easily. So this is 39 into 8, and this is 380 and 540. So 39 plus this will be 316. 39 into 8, 37 into 8. 30 into 8 is 240 plus 56, 296. 296 plus 380. Okay, and plus 540. Okay, so we will calculate this. 316 means, or let's just, x square is equal to, this is like, you can, if you can calculate manually, like mentally, good, 920 and minus 20. 900. Okay, how to do this mentally is like, see, uh 380 plus 540, add these two together, this will give you 920, right? And when you bring it this side, it will become minus 20, because 296, 316 minus 296 is 20. 296 minus 20 will be 296 minus 316 will be minus 20. So if you should have this ability. Okay, ये थोड़ा सा improve करना पड़ेगा to order to solve these questions fast. So x square is equal to 900 and x equal to 30. So the answer is 30. Because the faster your calculations are, the better you can solve quant. Because concepts many people know, calculation techniques some people know. Okay, so these were some approximation based questions. Now we have quantity comparison based questions. Okay, so first says area of the rectangle. We need to compare these two. So first says area of a rectangle is equal to area of square whose side is 24 centimeter. Okay, area of the rectangle is equal to area of the square, right? So area of square will be 24 into 24, 576. So quantity 1 is 576. Sometimes they will directly give you the quantity, or sometimes they will give you very easy statement for a quantity. So take that. Perimeter of the rectangle is 88 centimeter. Ratio of length and breadth is 6 ratio 5. So we have 6x and 5x, and 2 times, that is the perimeter, 2 times L plus B. So that is equal to 88. 11 into 2, 22. So we have x is equal to 4, right? 4 means this is 24 and the value is 20. So obviously this is 480. So quantity 1 is greater than quantity 2. Okay, so quantity 1 is greater than quantity 2. The ratio of Hina's age 7 years ago to Mina's age 12 years ago was 5 ratio 6. The ratio of Mina's age to Hina's age 8 years from now will be 5 ratio 4. Find the average of their present ages. Now in average based, in these ratio based questions, we have the tendency to take the present age. Never ever take their present age. Most people take the, let their present ages be x and y. Then they will say x plus 7 upon whatever given, they take the ratios. That is the most foolish way to do these questions. Now we are given that Mina's age to Hina's age 8 years from now will be 5 ratio 4. So 8 year later. Okay, so let us take Hina and Mina. Mina is greater than he, no? So 8 years later, 5x and 4x. Okay, 8 years later. Why are we taking that? Because simple ratio is given. Present ratio is not given. So for whichever year the ratio is given, take ages in that ratio, then reverse calculate the present age. So present age कितनी होगी? It will be 5x minus 8 and 4x minus 8. Okay, so calculate that way. Now the first line says ratios of Hina's age 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, Hina will be 4x minus 15. And Mina's age 12 years ago. So 12 years ago, she must have been 5x minus 20. Right? It is given that it is 5 ratio 6. So this ratio is Hina to Mina is 5 ratio 6. So it will be basically 6 ratio 5. Okay, so you need to, in ratio, you need to be particular about the order in which it is written, right? So it Mina is written first and Hina later. So 5 ratio 4, Mina and Hina. Here Hina is first and Mina is first. So just reverse the ratio. So these ratios are 6 ratio 5. Now do cross multiplication. That will give us 25x minus 100. That is equal to cross multiplication 24x minus 90. So when you subtract, you will get x equal to 10. Okay. Now, what is the question? The question is not the value of x. The question is average of their present ages. Now, do not take 50 and 40. The present age is this. So this person is 42 and this person is 32. Okay, you want to verify the numbers? See, while practicing, you can verify the answers, but not in the examination. So 42, 32, does it make sense? So 8 years later, 5 ratio 4, that is fine. Is 12 subtract color, that is 30, and 7 subtract color, 25, right? So 6 ratio 5. So that is fitting, right? So the numbers are correct, 42 and 32. So average is 37. So quantity 1 is 37. Quantity 2. The average age of 6 students is 24.5 years. When a new student joins them, the average increases by 1.5 years. When another new student is included, the average further increases by 2.5 years. Find the average age of the two new students. Okay. Now, what people will do in this question is they will find age of the 7th student and the 8th student. Right. Ultimately, we have to find the sum of these 8 students, right? We have to find the sum of these two remaining students. So when there are 6 students, the average is 24.5. Now when two more students are added, what is the new average? So first is increases by 1.5 and then 2.5. So total increase of 4. So the new average is 28.5, right? So at this 30 into it is 240. So minus 12, 228. 150 minus 3, 147. Okay, so that is student 7 plus student 8. No need to find separately, you can find directly also. Okay, so that is the thinking that one needs to have. If you can think like this, that means you are better than most of the people, because people will calculate 7th person and 8th person separately. You ultimately have to find the sum of 7th and 8th student. So you can get like this. So their average is 40.5. So obviously this average is higher. Okay, so quantity 2 is 42.5, 40.5. So quantity 2 is greater than quantity 1. Okay, so that's the answer. Next question. Gopal saves 12% of his income if his income is increased by 20% and expenditure increases by 1/8 of original expenditure. The increment decrement in his savings is what percentage of his annual income? Okay. All right. So income minus expenditure is savings. Okay. So first year he had income of 100 and his saving was 12 and expenditure was 88. Now this is year 1. Income increased by 20%, so income became 120. Expenditure increases by 1/8. So expenditure becomes 99. Okay, 11th increase, that is 99. Saving is 21. So increment or decrement in his savings? So there is increment is what percent, right? What is percent of initial income? So what is the increment? That is 9, okay, of his initial income. So that is 9%. Initial income we took as 100, right? So the increment is 9. 9 with not respect to the previous saving. It is saying with what percent of initial income. So 9%. Okay. Now, see, this is a compound interest based question. The compound interest received on 40,000 in 2 years is 7961. Find the rate of interest per annum. So instead of finding the rate of interest, what we can do is, like you can see that it is 9% is the first value. Put 9% and see if that makes sense in this value. Okay. So if you see compound interest of 9, basically the squares of 1.09, 1.09 square is 11881. Okay, so if you have to find amount, you need to multiply by this. If you have to find compound interest, you need to multiply by 0.1881, right, into 40,000. So 4 zeros will cancel this, so the compound interest will be into 4. So this is 324 plus 72, 7524. So at 9%, the compound interest will be this, but this is higher. So it is greater than 9%. Okay, so quantity 2 is greater than quantity 1. Okay, so instead of finding key 7961, like calculating the amount, probably you will get the answer. The answer you will get is, I think, 9.5%. But instead of doing that, use this sense कि एक easily calculatable है. We got 9%. Now we need to check the quantities, right? अगर 9% से ज़्यादा होगा, so that means obviously the value is higher. So calculate compound interest for 9%. Now, if you see the given compound interest is more than what we are getting at 9%. So the rate of interest will be obviously higher. In a bag, there are 6 green and 4 red balls. 3 marbles are taken out. Red marbles. 3 marbles are taken out one after the other without replacement. Find the probability that all 3 marbles are red. So quantity 1 is all 3 red. All 3 red means we have 4 red marbles. So picking 3 red marbles out of them. Okay. And total outcomes are 6 plus 4. There are 10 marbles. So 10C3. So 4C3 by 10C3, we can say 4 factorial, right? And like we have 4 factorial by 3 factorial and 1 factorial. Okay. So here we have like 4. So how do we calculate, like, or 4C3 we can just calculate 4, and 10C3 is 10, 9, 8 by 6. Okay. So we can take it like 6 over here, right? And then we have 9 into 10 is 90. This is 15 times and 2 times. So that is 1 by 30. Okay. So quantity 1 is 1 by 30. Quantity 2 we will calculate. An integer is chosen at random for the first 300 integers. What is the probability that this number will be divisible by 28? So 28, how many numbers are divisible? 28 into 10 is 280. Into 11 is 290. Like it will cross this. So 10 numbers are there. Right? 10. If you multiply by 11, it crosses 300. So there are 10 numbers which are favorable, and total there are 300 numbers. So this is 1 by 30. So both quantities are equal. Quantity 1 is equal to quantity 2. Okay. So probability based concept. So these quantity comparison can be on any of the topics. The distance traveled by a bus in 4 hours is 320 kilometers, right? If the speed of the bus is increased by 20%, how long will it take the bus to cover triple the distance? Okay. So, distance in 4 hours is 320. So, speed will be 80. Speed is increased by 20%. So, speed is now, we can call it S dash is 96. And time taken by the bus to cover triple the distance. So distance is now 300 into 2, 320 into 3, that is 960. And speed is now 96, so that is 10 hours. So quantity 1 is 10 hours. Okay, so easy to calculate. Second quantity, a bus traveling from A to B, which are 150 kilometer apart, covers half the distance at 25 kilometer per hour. So 75 kilometer it covers at 25, and the rest of the distance at 30 kilometer per hour. It takes 30-minute rest after covering first half of the distance. Total time to reach its destination. Okay, so this is 3 hours. This is 2.5 hours, right? Plus zero point 0.5, that is the rest in between. Okay, 30-minute rest is there. So total it will take a total of 5.5 plus zero point 0.5, that is 6 hours. So quantity 2 is 6 hours. So 1 is 10 hours, quantity 2 is 6 hours. So obviously quantity 1 greater than quantity 2. So if the statements are easy, like simple, this one was very simple, right? So just they have given the speed, indirectly asking that it is increased, distance is increased, find the new time. Second case also, one part, the distance is known, speed is known, time you can calculate, time calculate, add the rest time and compare the two values. So in many cases, these quantities will be easily comparable. Okay, sometimes it could be calculation intensive. I hope you are enjoying this session. So please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And in case you are preparing for CET, you can check our mock test. The link is given in the description of this video. Now let us come to the next set of questions, which is about data sufficiency. Okay. Now this is a tricky part, tricky in the sense that most people do not know how to solve data sufficiency. They actually start solving the questions. Remember that in data sufficiency, you are not supposed to calculate the answer. You have to tell that whether the information there is sufficient to answer the question. Okay. So let's see the first question. It says Vidhi purchased some pens, notebooks, and markers from three different shops. The selling price of an item was the same in all the shops. We need to tell the selling price of a notebook. Okay. So selling price of a notebook has to be told. Now, if you see the first question, the first one, right? So 18 markers, 12 pens, 15 notebooks. You will say that it cannot be determined from first, right? Second also you will say cannot be determined. Now, when we have two equations, like two variables, we need two equations to solve it. When we have three variables, we need three equations. That is what we know of, isn't it? Like typically, like if there are two equations, one in x and one in y, so we need two equations for those two variables. But if there are multiple variables, we cannot solve. Here we have two statements. But if you notice one thing, like it is worth noticing, if you can notice this, that is great. So if you multiply the second equation by 2, so what will it become? So we have 18x, let us call these prices x, y, z. 12y plus 15z is equal to 684. We need to find the value of z. Now second equation is 9x plus 6y plus 11z. Okay. Now if you multiply this equation by 2, it will become 18x, it will become 12y, it will become 22z. So then you can subtract, these will cancel out, these will cancel out, you will get the value of z. We are not supposed to calculate what is the value of notebook, right? We have to tell, can we get the value? Yes, we can get the value. So both statements together are necessary to answer the question. So using both statements, we can find the values. Find the time taken by the boat to cover 81 kilometer upstream and 48 kilometer downstream. Okay, so first equation says upstream and downstream speeds are in the ratio 9:16. So first, obviously we cannot tell because we have downstream speeds 9x and 16x. But that is not giving us the answer, right? So 81 by 81 by 9x plus 48 by 16x. Unless we know the value of x, we cannot tell the answer. So first statement is not sufficient. Now it says the boat can cover 32 km downstream and 854 km upstream in 4 hours. Now, if you see this statement, right, you will say when we combine, we can divide 32 by 16x, and like we will put the values and we will get the value of x based on the given distance. Okay, your answer is right. Like if you put it, you will be able to get it. But now this is again a bit tricky one, right? If you observe this, 32 kilometer, 54 kilometer, right? Down and up. Down and up is 48 and 81. So if you multiply by 1.5, you will get 81 kilometer upstream, and this is 48 kilometer downstream, and you will say in 6 hours, right? So the answer is 6 hours. So statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question. If there were some other numbers, it would not be possible to answer it. But this was a special case wherein we could just multiply by 1.5. Like in the previous question also, if there were some other numbers, it would not have been possible to answer it. Okay. All right. Let's see the next question. Is x equal to 9? So we are given a couple of quadratic equations. So when we solve this equation, so first equation, what we will get? You will get x minus 9 and x plus 2 equals to 0. So it becomes x is equal to 9 and minus 2, right? And second equation is x minus 3, x minus 7 is equal to 0, x is equal to 3 or 7. Now this is a tricky question. Why tricky? Some people will mark A as the answer. They will say that yes, is x equal to 9. But when you are solving a quadratic equation, you get two values. Okay, so the two values that you get are 9 and minus 2. So can we answer this question? No, because we are getting 9 also, we are not getting 9. It is saying that is x equal to 9. What is the question? The question is not asking that that what is the value of 9 x. It is saying is x equal to 9. Now you will say yes, you will say no. Right? So the answer cannot be determined, right? If I ask you that whether it is true or false, so you have both things in your mind. So the answer cannot be determined. But if you look at second equation, if I ask you is x equal to 9, you both will, for either case, you will say no. We need one answer. We need yes or no. From first statement, we are getting it is yes also or no also. We do not know. But from second statement, we know the answer. No, it is not equal to 9. Now, how many values of x are there does not matter. We are saying that is that equal to 9, right? So the answer is second alone is sufficient to answer the question. So I picked some tricky questions in data sufficiency to illustrate that you need some thinking. Like usually they are straightforward. In some cases, you can get these tricky questions. So do let me know that if you were able to solve these questions, these data sufficiency questions, good questions were taken up, not just simple calculation but thought provoking questions also, because that is what is needed. Like logic is also needed to ace the exam. What is the principal amount? Okay, the sum of money becomes 4 times in 20 years at 15% per annum simple interest. We need to tell the principal. Okay, so when we have 20 years at 15% per annum, so 15 into 20 years is 300% interest or 3 times interest. So SI is 3 times of P, and if you add it to P, the principal will become 4 times, right? So for any, so obviously for any principal, it will be 4 times only. Whether if you take, so this does not give any value. Okay, so this does not give any value. So this is the like this is 300%. Okay, that means simple interest is 3p or final amount will be 4p. So it is, we cannot determine the principal based on it, because for every principal it will become 4 times only, whether it is 5,000, whether it is 8,000, 20,000, any number will become So first is not sufficient. Second says sum of money at simple interest amounts to 12450 in 3 years and 15980 in 5 years. Now before you calculate the sum, right? Understand this. Sum after amount after 3 years is principal plus 3 years of interest that is given to us. Amount after 5 years is given as principal plus 5 years of interest. So we can find the values of I, we can find the value of P. So we can find from second statement alone. So second statement alone is sufficient to answer this question, right? You can solve. Now the crux of data sufficiency is you are not supposed to solve the questions. आपको solve नहीं करना होता, आपको just बताना होता है कि इससे आंसर आएगा नहीं आएगा. Okay, so first वाले से आंसर आएगा no, because for every principal it will become 4 times only. Second wala se aayega, yes, there will be two equations. You will be able to solve the equations. See, the purpose is not to solve the equations. Okay, you just have to see can we solve. Yes, we have two equations, we can solve them and get the value of P. Now next one is it says that A and B together can complete a task in 7 days. B alone can do it in 20 days. What part of the work was carried by B? Okay. So now again we are not supposed to calculate what part was done. We just have to see the information. So the biggest mistake that people make in data sufficiency is they start calculating. क्योंकि आप बुक में देखोगे मॉक्स में देखोगे वहाँ ये आंसर दिया रहता है कि हाँ इससे निकल के आ जाएगा फ्रॉम वन वी गेट दिस वैल्यू फ्रॉम टू वी गेट दिस वैल्यू बट ये आपको सिर्फ एक्सप्लेनेशन में मिलेगा कि like if someone is teaching data sufficiency there only they will explain that you are not supposed to calculate the values. Now see, we need to find how much work is done by A. What we are given, A and B together can complete in 7 days, B alone in 20 days. So efficiency B is given, right? Together work दिया तो A की भी efficiency पता है, right? So we are already given the efficiency of both people. So first says A completed the job alone after A and B worked together for 5 days. So we know the efficiency of A and B. ठीक है, कैलकुलेट नहीं करना, मेंटल मैप बनाना है. See, if you calculate, they are not asking that. You are not, you do not have to tell what part is completed, right? We are not asking the value of that. You just have to tell that whether can we calculate it. So A and B work together for 5 days. So you can tell how much work is complete. Okay, you can tell that 40%, 50%, 70%, whatever. We know their efficiency, so we can tell. Now A completed the job alone after that. So we can find how much part will A complete. So first also, since we know their individual efficiency, we can tell what percent is completed by B, what is done by A. So from one alone, we can answer this question, how much part A will complete. So do let me know in the comments that if you calculated that how much part does A complete. Part of the work done by A could have been done by B and C together in 6 days. Okay. Now A, whatever part A is doing could have been done by B and C together. Now C एक नया person आ गया. Okay, चलो B तक ठीक था. We know about B. C, do we know his efficiency? No, it's a new person introduced. They have not mentioned his efficiency. Okay. Now, even if you can calculate his efficiency, suppose you calculate because we can calculate. It says part of work done by A could have been done by B and C together in 6 days. Now, what part of is done by A? Can we find it? Whether it is 30%, 40%? No, we cannot tell. Right? And we don't know the efficiency. So this is irrelevant answer because a third person is introduced. We are not aware of his efficiency. So statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer the question. 2 alone is cannot answer this question. So these were the solutions to today's questions on mixed bag for quant. So in quant, you typically get questions on like if you look at the conventional MNCT paper. So apart from data interpretation and others, you will get questions on these kinds as well, like data sufficiency, quantity comparison, quadratic equations, and number series. So we covered all this so that you get practice of these questions as well. And I hope you must have learned something, especially the quadratic equation thing and the degree of sufficiency things, how to approach those questions. So keep learning with us. Join our Telegram group to get the daily drill PDFs. Try to solve those questions and then look at the solutions to understand how to solve these questions in the best possible manner. If you wish to prepare for CET in a structured manner, covering all these topics and these tricks, here we take up some questions and we learn certain tricks. In this course, we have covered the entire syllabus through such techniques, whether it is simple interest, compound interest, profit loss. So, if you watch those classes, it will change the way you think and approach the questions. And in case you are looking for mock tests, you can check our mocks also. The link is given in the description. So this was the solution of day 13. So keep watching this series and I hope this series is going to benefit you a lot for CET. So wish you all the best for the exam.